I wouldn't sweat it. I wouldn't sweat it. We can't screw this up, brother.
Okay. All right.
We can't screw this up, man. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, we ought to be able
It's
to
just
figure
it's
out
just
something. Yes.
yeah, it's just you and me. So
Okay.
and if we run across something where we don't like necessarily the way it was answered, or you want to answer it a couple different ways, we can you know again we've got the time here, so you know what I mean, let's start out with just like a quick, you know what I mean, like, because we were talking about this before, like how we met, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Yes.
that was kind of like, well, how did that really how did
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
really happen exactly? So
Yeah.
let's start off with Tom, like an introduction. Could you
Yes.
tell who you are and what you do and where you're at? Could you do that for me?
I will. Before we do that, though, on my screen where I can see what the camera's taking, I only have about from here down. So are
Of
you
me
getting
or
the
of
full
you?
picture?
I'm
Okay.
getting you. I'm getting you. I'm getting
All
all
right.
of you. So I see
Okay.
your head,
All
kind
right.
of like in the lower third, but it's workable. I've got it, my brother.
Okay.
So
All right.
so what do you think? So explain to everybody who you are
Okay.
and where you are and what you do. Could you do that for me?
I will. Hi, my name is Tom Reimer. I'm the facilities manager for Goodville Mutual Casualty Company. We're an insurance company, and I've been here for 6 years. Goodville's been here for over 100 years, and right here in Lancaster County. Our current facility is about 40,000 square feet. And if a light doesn't work or an area of the building is cold, well, that's my fault. So I can change a bulb or look at the thermostat, but I have an elite team of 55 vendors that I use to take care of the technical and the complicated things that come up every now and then in a normal operation of a business facility like we have. So my major concerns are providing safe, comfortable, and ergonomic workplaces for our employees, pleasant, presentable, and accessible facilities for our agents and customers that visit us. And all this we have to do on a regular basis. Keeps me busy every day. Sometimes it keeps me up at night. So that's it.
Perfect. Perfect, Tom. Perfect. Can you share with me a little about, like, what did your life and the business look like before we started working together? I mean, we were in the middle of the pandemic, right? So that's when.
Absolutely.
So what was? Can you recall, like, what was it all like? You know what I mean? Like, where were we at before we met?
Well, for some reason, I can't move my fancy screen that's on there. It's okay because I have a paper backup. It's always good to
Nice.
have paper.
Yeah, that's cool. And honestly, like, at this point, it's just a conversation, so you don't have to
Right.
be as scripted if you don't need to.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, we just roll with it. You know what I mean? Like, you kind
Good.
of remember. You know what I mean?
I'm with you. Yes, I do. And
So
before we started working together, and a long time before I came here, Goodville hired their own cleaning staff. And that meant that Goodville was responsible for training, supervising, scheduling, getting all the materials. And so then at some point they said, it's going to be easier if we get a service and they'll manage that for us. So they did. And then as the company grew, I came along about 6 years ago. And I noticed in my first year that I was getting more and more complaints about this getting get clean. The door was left open. And so I followed up. And then the more I learned about the company that we were using at the time, that they had sort of a revolving door. It's hard for them to get and keep employees. And so they were continually training, and everyone has a different learning curve. And I just felt that we weren't getting what we should out of having a cleaning service. So it was time to make a change.
right, right. So you and I first connected. What was it? Was it before the pandemic? Like, when did we actually? Do you remember? Like, when we
It
started
was
working
just
together?
before, but not much
Just
before.
before.
Yep,
Right.
I decided
Right.
it's time. I talked to my boss about it. I had just finished up a request for proposal for an HVAC company. We had that off my desk, so I said I want to do another one. And we talked about it, and he says, "Yeah, let's do it." So I went on the internet. I got different information. I called you up. We talked. You had a visit, and I was happy with all the things that I heard. I did talk to other companies, and I'm pretty sure that I had references from you that I called. Someone down at Urban, I believe.
Correct.
And
Yeah,
so
that's right.
after all that information, I was happy and I was ready to go.
Awesome. Awesome. So what were some of the things, do you remember some of the things we helped you out when we first got started? Like, because we kind of like came into the pandemic, right? So how
Yeah,
did we, what,
yeah,
so, and, we kind of got quasi shut down there for a minute, didn't we? Like,
sure. Well,
so,
even before the pandemic happened, I knew right from the beginning that this was a new ball game. I figured I stepped up to the major leagues because now I had good communication, I had consistent performance, and I had a big drop in complaints right away from the employees.
right.
So,
Awesome.
and
Awesome.
then the next question that you're probably going to ask me is how long did it take? What was a reaction to a biggest success? And I have COVID as our biggest success. So shortly
Right.
after Patriot became our cleaning service, something called COVID, one niner, landed on our doorstep, and as like an unwanted house guest. And so here to say, and it changed everything for us. Parents had to stay home to watch children or couldn't go to school. Some employees were quarantined and couldn't work. Our IT department was handing out laptops like free peanuts, and people were working at home when they could. I stayed here though, but the pandemic had a lot of misinformation. There was hoarding. I couldn't get a bottle of bleach anywhere I went on one day. Walmart, another outlet stores close by, the Dollar General, the shelves were empty. And so
Right.
with all this panic and stuff going on, not Jim. He was a voice of sanity and reason, and the world was upside down, but we talked through it sometimes several times a day. And you gave me good advice. We talked about sanitizers, we talked about schedules, how to do it. No, you don't have to do it 6 times a day. Just 2 or 3 will be fine. And so
Right.
we came up with stuff that kept our employees happy. I did it at times so they could see me. They'd see a visual representation of the company doing something to keep them safe. Um, so it was a fun experience. I'm glad we don't have to do it again.
We hope, right? We hope
Yes, yes, Lord
we don't
willing.
ever want to do that
Yeah.
again. So what could you say? Like, what was our? Do you have like a first win for us? Did we have a first small win? Like you got us in there, right? And
Yeah.
then
Yep.
what would we say? I guess maybe we could say your first win was just people your complaints going down. We could always we can almost just call that your win. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So, um, so
My life was a lot better. I didn't lose sleep at night, and that's been a problem for me all my life. But I didn't lose sleep worrying about the cleaning stuff getting done, because
right,
once we had people here and it was reliable, my complaints went down to the lowest level ever. And if I had to make a phone call about something, I was treated with respect, and people did things, and it wasn't like, oh, we'll get to it, and other stories that I would hear before, and maybe sometimes the things I would tell my boss. But so it was a good experience for us starting out with Patriot. So
right, right. And what's been the biggest result of the success that you've seen with us?
well, we have the same crew today and probably this evening coming here to work that came 5, 6 years ago, and I'm so happy with them. And the best thing is that Rocky and Virginia, and thank both of them and you also, and their family for all the things they've done. And now they're more like my friends and my family than just someone that works for us and shows up and comes and goes in the night. We never see them. And I don't see them as much. I saw them a lot more in the beginning, but I talk to them all the time. They have my cell phone. I call them, they call me, and it works very well.
Right, right. So, do you recall how long it took between the time that when we first talked and when I first provided service? I mean, how long was it? Do you remember?
No, it wasn't that long though. We were ready right away to move, and once we heard about it, looked at all the factors, we were happy. I was pretty sure from the beginning. My boss took my advice, and we moved forward. So
Right, right. Okay. So, if we were going to make before and after claims, what would be claims we would make? What would we say? What's the big difference between the before and the after here? What would you say? We ain't no hurry, my brother. Take your time.
okay.
We're not in no any hurry.
Well, it's going to be similar to the other ones. I guess I just used some of these, but my life was much better. I wasn't losing sleep about things not getting done here at work, as far as the
Right.
cleaning and the company was complaints to the lowest level, and I was treated with respect every time that I had to deal with either your workers or the company. So,
Right. So I think we covered 99% of it. I just got one more question and then
go
we'll
ahead.
let it rock. So, if you were going to say to someone else, if you were going to recommend us to someone else right now, and they're thinking about coming on board about us, but they're uncertain or they have some reservations and they called you and said, what do you think about Patriot? What do you think about these guys? What would you tell them?
Well, I tell them between us that all of the things that I just talked about today so far, I was very thankful for that. But from my viewpoint, where I am now, and thinking about having to hire Patriot USA or looking for a quality facilities maintenance company, it'd be a real easy decision for me to make. So, two things to keep in mind for the person that's looking right now. I'd say number one, I pay a fair price for consistent quality work, and I'm very grateful to find that. And number two, and this is from my old man, remember the bitterness of poor quality remains long after the sweetness of a low price is forgotten. So I'm very thankful for my dad telling me that, but I'm grateful that I found, hired, and still use Patriot USA. Great company. Glad to have you, Jim.
Thank you, my friend. Fantastic. Thank you so much. That was awesome. That was awesome. It's not going to be hard making a highlight reel out of this one, my brother. You know what I mean? I appreciate that.
Got to do it over. You got half my head cut off. I'll find
No,
it.
no, I think we're fantastic.
Okay,
I think
good.
this is actually perfect. And let me first start by just saying thank you. Thank you for your participation, for your friendship, for our relationship, for your business, all of the above. You know what I mean? Like, I really appreciate you, my friend.
All right.
And this was a great way to break the ice because, we've got we actually were lucky enough when we started doing this that, we weren't sure how it was really going to go. Like, we started making the invites or whatever. And we were like, and there was part of me, be honest, Tommy. I mean, I was like, oh, nobody's going to want to do this. They all hate us. You know what I mean? Like, in my head, I'm like, it's all going to be horrible. And then people started to say, yeah, we want to talk. And I thought, okay, you know what I mean? So I was like, but you know what? I'm so glad it's you and you're first. Right. You know what I mean? For a bunch of different reasons. Because I'm fond of you, one. I really like you. I enjoy our relationship and your friendship.
All right.
And frankly, I just this was a really warm, friendly place to start. I appreciate
It is.
that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is a warm, friendly place to start. So,
Thank you.
as always, if you need anything at all, my man, anytime, day, night,
Okay.
whatever, reach out to me.
All right.
And, we hope to be servicing you for 30 years. You know what I mean? So you'll since be retired, hopefully. But,
the guy before me was here for 45 years. I asked that in the interview. Do your facilities maintenance members have to work for 45 years? And they're going like, how do you know this stuff? I said, oh, I know people. But I said, I'll try, but I don't know if I can do the whole 45, So I'm 70. Oh, I'm 67. And I'll be 68 at the end of this year. So I'm
close. Pretty good for 68, my brother. You look good. God bless you. You know what I mean? God bless you.
Thank you.
So, awesome. Well, thanks so much, Tom. Right. If there's anything else you can think of, you know what I mean? Anything you ever need, always give me a call. As we pull all this together, of course, I'll zap this through to you so that, so that the powers can put eyes on it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I think it highly unlikely they would have anything, ill to say about it. I think it all came out smooth, looked great, and you sound professional, look fantastic. So,
all right. You're very kind, Jim. Thank you so much. Lord bless you.
Have a fantastic day. Thanks. You take care now. All right. See you. Bye-bye.